This is the house the Kamurai built. Time to get started. Hello, I am Kamurai. Welcome to the house Kamurai built. Things and stuff have been happening. I specifically waited not to do it like late Thursday night or even late Friday night. Wait till after Saturday. Probably, I think I planned to do it Saturday evening after I'd gone to the Hogstown Fair or whatever it was, whatever it's called. It's the Hogstown Medieval Fair, I think. It's a Alachua County Fairgrounds thing. It's like the Renaissance Fair, but smaller. It's a much smaller budget, apparently, as well, which I'll circle back to that. But I am, of course, a proud unicorn warrior. Yes, I wear the shirt in public, and I don't give a shit. So that's what that is. Let's see. So realizing I need to cut back on some things, and I need to try to do everything I can to try to knock like a credit card or something out. So that's been how to properly do that to my mind and not spending money, and then failing to do that when things I want come around. Plus trying to help out and do some things for the game community. Like I'm trying to buy a collection of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that my friend who has a game store has some loose Yu-Gi-Oh cards to sell, and we'll probably end up selling them online. But but that way we'll have a collection of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff to sell. Because right now we got a small selection of Pokemon cards for me. I haven't really talked about selling them. I haven't talked about selling Versus, which is a dead game technically. And a guy was interested in him. I'm just so mad I didn't have him with me, and then apparently he never came back. But whatever. I actually thought I saw him on the bike the following week. So, but hopefully he wanders back in, be like, "Hey, I remember you guys." So that'll be a thing. We'll get the Yu-Gi-Oh cards up. Some of the Warhammer stuff's finally selling off, so that's nice. If we can get the rest of that online and out the door, that would be fantastic. I think we're waiting on the half cases to come in, based on was the first sale? Yeah, the first sale with the Blood Bowl stuff. We spent pretty much my share of that just ordering half cases from Games Workshop so we could split up the was Imperial Guard Sisters Battle, and someone bought the Sisters Battle recently, which was nice. If you don't understand 40K, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But the point is that I sold some stuff, and so I actually got to keep the money this time. And some of that went towards Splendor and Spellcaster, which just, I don't know what sold me about it, but it really did. It's a dueling wizards game, and it's actually pretty interesting. It's pretty quick to play, and I'm super excited to see that. And I finally got to play Splendor, or buy and play Splendor. It's a game I bought without ever playing it before, and technically without seeing a full game of it. I've seen like bits and pieces, pictures, explanations, recommendations, but and after Android Netrunner, I was really afraid I was going to do that. So I need to stay off that because I'll get back to that here over on Gaming Division a bit. But a little bit of what's going on. But I need to find doctors around, medical doctors around, particularly a dentist and a gynecologist. I don't remember. Ear, nose, and throat doctor. I've been having an earache, and I broke a tooth sometime in December, and it's been bothering me. Like even drinking water, it's temperature sensitive. So even if we just pull the damn thing out, I need to do it. But I've got dental insurance. I just got to find it. It's over there somewhere. So that's a thing, like just being old and ridiculous. But I've been here since April, and I haven't needed a doctor. So I had that 1 week or whatever. I had like the flu for a couple days, and I was good. That whole week, everyone was going insane. I thought I was going to go home and die one day. Oh man, let's see what else. So the Hogstown Fair. So let's talk about that, because that was the big event of the week. With that, oh yeah, I need to come around and do all the overlay needs to change. I've got a couple podcast or cast, whatever you want to call it, screens I need to fix and whatnot, so I need to do that and get back to programming game box. So goals. It's important to have goals. I've just been really sleepy this past week because I've been trying to get on an early schedule. But I'm hoping this next week I'll actually have the motivation to go and do these things. But Hogstown, that was the big thing because I didn't realize how much I wanted to do something until I got there. So I got there and like the main parking lot's full because I went all late. Oh, I keep sidetracking away from it, but I did do something else beforehand. I found out about this place called Karma Cream. It's supposed to have these great vegan cupcakes. And vegan is non-dairy, and non-dairy is like kind of my jam these days. So I thought like, oh, cupcakes I can actually eat and not spend 2 hours just wrecked. Because there's a really good cupcake place over by Witch, and yeah, that turned out kind of bad. It was so good though, so good. But I went to Karma Cream and I got to use a parking meter, though I found out that I don't have to do it on Saturdays. It's been a while since I had to do a parking meter. But I don't go to town that often. But I went in and I talked to the guy. The guy kind of gave me a quick education thing. He was trying to sell me on ice cream. I think it's because it was cold and like he's not selling a lot of ice cream. But I ended up getting like a soy hot chocolate, which was actually pretty good, even though I don't like soy milk all that much. And then a chocolate chip cookie and a brownie. And the chocolate chip cookie was amazing. That was better than Pamela's. Because I haven't had fresh baked cookies in I don't know how long. It's been forever and a day. But the brownie was really weird. It was light, but it felt empty. I think the chocolate that they're using for that is not what I like. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm saying it's just not what I like. And the chocolate that they had used for the chips to keep it vegan and non-dairy is probably what I do like. Because it's probably like a fudge faux chocolate thing. But that thing was awesome. I was like trying to pick through the bag. I was mad when I found the brownie. That's how good the cookie was. But the soy hot chocolate was good. It wasn't like the best one ever, but it's the first hot chocolate I've had in quite a while, so it was nice. So I took that with me to Hogstown, and I was like, oh, last time I went to the Renaissance Fair. In fact, like 5 years ago at Ren Fair, they had ATM. So I'm like, they've got to have an ATM here. And they actually did me one better. But I went to the ATM, like there's someone it looked like someone set a cone aside. I was just like, what the fuck is this? So I went to use it, and I just started using it. And then, like, I could kind of hear background chatter behind me, these ladies. And they're talking, and then they're like, sir. I'm like, checking my balance, making sure I've got enough money to pull, and going through and trying to do it. And they're like, I don't think it works. I'm like, well, it doesn't work, or it doesn't have money in it. Because I just checked my balance. And then someone else came over even after I said it the first time. Like, she didn't believe me. I'm like, well, I'm withdrawing money. I don't know what your problem is. And then I went over, and they even had, like, a credit booth. It was great. It was really like the last time I saw Renaissance Fair. They had different lanes for cash, charge, or if you bought it online, which is really weird to see the word online around people pretending to be from medieval times. So I just used my card. I was like, yeah, awesome. Just kept walking, and of course there's that stupid long walk that you do when you're in second parking. And of course everyone thinks you came in the main entrance. No, because you came in the other parking space. But I wandered in and saw the big jousting place and some horses and stuff. And not really my thing. They're beautiful animals, but I'd almost rather run alongside them than ride them. But I'm not against riding them. It's just seems like a weird habit, and I don't know if the horses get out of it. But right next to that was a wonderful little thing. I walked up right in the beginning, so it was perfect timing. It was Robin Hood, and he's talking, and sure enough, Sheriff of Nottingham shows up, apparently because he read the program and knew where to find him. So he locks up Robin Hood and Friar Tuck, and then he does a dramatic retelling of their adventures, and that's where all the people on the sides, the Actors Guild, which is the Thieves Guild, and if you get a chance to check out any of their stuff, do it, because they have some great skills there. And what I really loved about it, because I watched a couple things, I'm like, oh, it's super telegraphed. It's super telegraphed. Because as an audience member, it takes me out of it. If it's too telegraphed, I get the same problem with pro wrestling. If they're not that good, or they're not communicating super well, or they don't know how to work together, they telegraph so that everyone's paying attention, can know. Because that's what a telegraph is. You project ahead what you want to say. So I saw a couple wrestling signatures out there from a couple guys, which was really cool to be able to pick that out. One guy had a whip. The girl was running around screaming. I was so happy I got to tell her how much I enjoyed that performance, because she was a wee thing, but she she sold it good. I think she even had a couple times where she grabbed the whip away from him. But she was a wee thing against this big boulder of a guy, and so like when they finally got close quarters, it was really that weird struggle thing to like push, and she's not moving, and they really put some fun stuff in there. The most impressive stuff for me was when they stopped, or they didn't stop telegraphing, but they weren't telegraphing, because they actually have some higher level skilled people in there. And I got to talk to one, I think her name's Sunshine, who's actually turns out to be like one of the top trainers there, which is why she's so good, and she has that form. She was nice enough to give me a moment to talk to her. I thanked her for everything after the show. Super impressive. I talked to them about maybe joining, because what I realized I want is somewhere to practice sword play. Like, I'd love to do like some sparring stuff, practice blades, something where I can exercise a little bit and actually get some form and skill. So like I could find someone to go to amp guard and like work on form a little bit, but it never works out well because the weapons are too light. I like some weight to it, so if you have training blades, that's ideal. Or you can take a real blade and just go through motions. Like, I was actually thinking about practicing kendo with the katana I have, just motions to exercise upper body. It's actually full body if you do it right. Anyways, back to people. So I talked to them there, and I ended up getting a business card, and I looked them up. I found them on Facebook, and I found their website, and I got on their newsletter. And Sunny was, that's the thing, Sunshine actually was walking on earlier, and she actually stopped and talked to me for a little bit. It was really nice of her to do that. God, I don't know what my problem is, because I was like, I started out like, yeah, it's cute, and then like just the more I talked to her, and the more I found out I was a gay girl, because I'm an idiot, and like I've never ended up liking anyone like my speed. It's never gonna happen. But someone that impressive, you should be attracted to. That's my opinion. I think it would be rude of me not to be. And I don't know if I weirded her out at any point, but because she was just so nice, talking to me and everything. And so this summer, if I'm still in Gainesville, I think I'm gonna go training. I'm gonna join the training sessions or whatever there and see what's up. And even if it's like just sword play that I work on, and whatever performances they're doing, if I help out with that, great. But like I don't really want to get up and do like acting. Like, I can do this, I can talk and I can ramble and I can work a crowd. Okay, I can get up on stage just fine as long as I have something to talk about. You put me in a conversation where I'm like, this person doesn't want to hear anything I have to say. I don't, because it's boring. Mostly because I know it all. But even if I didn't, I would find most of what I have to say fairly entertaining. But occasionally people say, oh yeah, you are kind of interesting, you're kind of weird, funny, or whatever, and I'm like, no, don't. Okay, anyways, but like I do this more for me to just get better. And I think if I hadn't been doing this on and off for as long as I have, I don't think I'd be able to talk as well as I do to people, and that's a horrible statement, but that's okay. Let's see. So nice, such nice people. And part of the reason why I even went to Hawkstown in the first place is one of the ladies from Zaxby's, because I go there like 5 times a week. I walk there from work to eat lunch. I eat a sandwich and I have a drink, and I leave. So I'm there like a total of 15 minutes, 5 days a week, and I get my half-hour break in, and I'm back to work, so I can get the hell out of there. But one of the girls there was performing. She had some minor roles, but she got to dress up and have fun with everybody and watch, observe, and train up with them and see how the community works. And so good for her. But I got to see her, talk to her, and so she's fun. She actually comes down and plays games at the same shop. It's not nearly as heavy as like me or some of the other people, but she and her boy do a couple things. So there's that. So so I was walking. I wanted to make a circle of the fair before I settled down anywhere else again, and I wanted to make with the what was it, the Oops dagger art or whatever it is. But I ran across guys in armor with beat sticks, and I was like, oh, what is this? And it turns out that they were sparring. They were doing their group is called SCA, the Society for Anachronical ology or something. It's essentially the study of history throughout the times, or history of warfare. It's the study of history throughout the times or something like that. But they actually pieced together armor. I think I was talking to one of the older guys, Taka. Yeah, that's his name. And he's showing me his stuff. He has a steel helmet. He didn't make the helmet, but he made like the full Bushido armor that he was wearing. It's all aluminum. Showed me the glaive he was using. There's a reach that came by. Honestly, I had way too big a handle for me, but I wouldn't mind doing that. I don't like using a shield just because it's annoying. It's tactically sound, especially in their group, because shields are venerable. In real life, you can hack a shield apart if you really try. But I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't really want to build armor because it doesn't matter if you're wearing the armor. If they hit you hard enough to count, then it's supposed to count. And it's gentleman's honor and all, but I have a hard enough time trying to bear scare with amp guard stuff. Of course, it's not heavy enough, so you don't always recognize you get hit. They use rattan weapons, which is like this super thick bamboo or light tree, whatever you want to call it, to make their stuff. And a lot of it looks the same. But it's like lighter padding. It's everything. So it's expected that you're wearing armor, especially I would think gloves. And I'm at a loss for what I do, and I definitely want to I definitely don't want to throw down the money to armor up, even at the minimal specs, because oh my god, I can only imagine how much that actually costs to do that. But it was so much fun to watch. Like I even like took a knee and was just like, oh, I'm gonna be here in a minute. But I got to watch. I talked to Taka and one of the ladies who helps run it. I'm assuming she's like a spouse of somebody. But I got on their mailing list so I can get more information about them, see when things are coming out. And I think I may go out to the park where they're at for, I don't know if it's auditions or training or what, but they got something that they do pretty regularly that I think I want to go check out and just see how it is, because I got to look up what it is and if there's another name for what they do, and I got to do research, which is fun. So there's that, and then like I mentioned, there's the Oops Dagger Actors, two comedian guys who juggle and make dirty jokes and throw knives at each other. And they had this great bit where they put one guy in a bag because he kept sneaking away from the target zone where the guy was going to throw knives at him. And he actually managed to slip the gate behind him. And I knew that was going to happen, but I was trying to watch for it. Could not watch for it. Now, granted, I couldn't see the bottom half. So whatever is with his feet, that's what I would have looked for if I really had a chance to see when he replaced his feet. Because he had some boots on that I figured like he just has a second pair. but the guy talks for a while, and then he ends up throwing one in the dead center to the bag. And he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Paulo," and Paulo shows up in the bag. It's really good. They actually, if you watch magic shows at all, they do a good bit of flair for this. And while this isn't a magic act, throwing a magic trick in at the end, very nice touch to great show. I was happy to throw $5 at him afterwards. Oh, you know what? But between those two shows, I definitely missed the second show because I wanted to watch the Thieves Guild again. I actually enjoyed it enough for the first time. I wanted to watch it again, and I totally missed them. But like I was wandering back and forth between them wrapping up because I wanted to say hey to my friend again, and I was kind of floating back and forth between them and Topsy Turvy. It's Topsy Turvy show by the Jerry something Jesters. I can't remember what they are, but it's Lily and Amanda. They called themselves a sister act, but they're not actual sisters as far as I can tell. But they do the same type of humor with like dirty jokes and silliness, and Amanda's a lot of fun. She reminds me of Kelly Nova from Weird Girls a lot. So and the other girl's this tiny thing, and she's like she plays the straight man, but she was actually pretty funny too. She kept apologizing to the parents in the audience, which to me I just find is funny all by itself. But they did several gymnastic stuff. They did body stunts where like they lift each other in different positions and flexibility things. They even brought like this. I think they said he weighed 130 guy out on stage to stand on Lily while she was doing a back bend. And if you know these sort of variety acts, why are you clawing me? I'm putting you down. Jeez. If you know anything about these variety acts, that's a very kind of standard thing. You take someone tiny, it's like, oh, she's just a wee little thing. No, her body is this fucking instrument of muscle and flexibility. And then you put them on a point that someone with minimal can actually do. I'm not saying it doesn't take any effort. I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm saying that if you know what you know, or what you can know about it, you know that, like, hey, it's a standard type thing. But he stood on her hips, which is where you would stand on a person because you don't want to put 130 pounds of pressure on someone's bladder and pee all over the stage if they don't collapse. But she still has to hold that up using her arms and her legs at those angles. So super impressive to see those things. What I was really impressed in, what got my attention, was her playing with a whip. They brought a bullwhip out, and they were doing a couple tricks with it. And, of course, they did the thing where, like, Amanda puts, like, the straw in her mouth, and at the end of her straw is, like, a little foosball or tribble or whatever, and then Lily cracked the whip on the end of that fuzzball and knocked the fuzzball away. Or broke it off, or whatever you want to call it, while Amanda held it in her mouth. And, of course, they're doing comedy routine. They're joking about, like, it going that close to her face. They do the whole thing where they guide the crowd. They're like, well, when we signal like this, or they're like, here's a and here's a new trick for your amusement. Ooh. They were just a lot of fun, and mad respect when, like, actors, I don't know what it is with that style of entertainer, but, like, they're hardly ever in shoes because it's just smart for their job. But they just are in some insane weather. It's either, like, super hot and they're out there all day and they're just dying, or it gets way too cold and they're out there with no shoes. So, like, they even had, like, a bit, like, Lily ended up rolling out, like, a yoga mat or something. And like, they were both just so happy to have a yoga mat. They weren't on the cold wood. But I talked to Lily for a little bit afterwards, and apparently we both knew Jana Colgan, who is a silk dancer, because I was complaining with her. I'm like, I was actually really surprised nobody was out here doing silk. And so, like, Lily said she knew Jana. and she actually knew how to do silk, but she didn't have a rig. And I saw the equipment that goes into that. Wow. And it actually makes sense that, like, given that you charge a bit more because you have actually the skills and the equipment to put on the show properly, so your budget, you increase your sorry, the budget to hire someone like Jaina is a little bit higher, and good for her that she can travel around and still make money, because if she charged less than she needed to, then she's not going to be able to do it. It's just the fact of it. And it's a smaller fair, so I totally get that not everybody's going to be able to come by and see it. And even if they did, there's only so many people there at the fair. What was I going to say? So that seems like a shame that there wasn't any silk there, because that's super amazing to watch. But she was super nice to sit there and jabber with me about that. And I realized that, like, people being nice as entertainers and customer service are just them doing their job. It's what they do to ensure that, like, hey, these people get the word out, they don't badmouth me, etc. But I like to imagine that I actually at least have some kind of legitimate conversation and everything with these people. And boy, for them, I'm glad they're doing what they do, and they like what they're doing, because they said they get to actually go out and travel around places. Man, trying to think if there's anything else there, because it was cold and they were working up. Oh, the last thing I do want to mention was that they were playing this really interesting game. I don't know what inspired this in the first place, but like several of the Thieves Guild people were sitting around a big old table, and in the middle was a mug of something. I don't know if it even had anything in it, but like, I don't know, 20 of the other people all had these little Beanie Baby rat things. And they went all the way. They started all the way across the field, and in sticks, and they would take the sticks and they'd shove them under the rats, and then they would flip the rats with people walking by and everything. And I guess as long as nobody stepped on the rat or it didn't land in a mouse trap, because there were mouse traps all over the place, the rats were still alive, and then it was whoever could get their rat in the cup first, or by the end of the game, or without getting it killed, I think. Yeah, I think that's what it was. And apparently that has some repercussions later. Like, there's an award ceremony when they're wrapping this up, because this is a community of people who obviously all know each other well and all get along, and they try to have fun with it because it's an opportunity to do that sort of thing. But I think that's all I've got for now. I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. I've got to go over to gaming division. So if you look down here, one of these, it's mirrored. It's this one. Gaming Division 528 is my gaming channel. I've got to go over there and go through the games I've played this week. There's a weird thing about doing this on a Sunday is that I immediately have another one. And if I forget to do the Jam on Toast one on Wednesdays, I end up doing this one and that one on the same day. So hopefully I'll do this again on Thursday, and it'll just be really short. What? That's what I thought. Anyways, have a nice day. I am Kamurai.